Hello, welcome back to Elise Reads and Speaks. So I had this idea that I was going to read all 8 arcs that I got at YALLFest and review them as I went, okay? Just do a long video that had clips of me finishing each book and just giving you my unfiltered review about them. So I've gotten through 4 and I know that it's almost January 1st and I think 1 or 2 comes out in January and 1 comes out in February, and I just want to make sure that I get their reviews up before they actually come out, just in case it's something that you're interested in, then you will know to pick it up when it comes out. So I will do this review video of the first 4 that I've read, which are Unscripted, Furious Thing, Only Love Can Break Your Heart, and what was the last one? Oh, This Train Is Being Held, okay? So I'm gonna review those 4 right now. Enjoy. So the first one that I started reading was Unscripted by Nicole Kronzer. I started reading this one at YALLFest, and while I was in line, I got through, I think, 70 pages. And you're standing in line for a while waiting for authors to sign books. And even through 70 pages, I was like, ugh, I am just not feeling this. It started off really cheesy, kind of campy with the jokes that they were telling. Again, it's about a girl that goes to improv camp. I read all these during my YALLFest vlog, but just to give you another brief recap, the girl goes to improv camp. She's an actor. She's totally into improvisation, wants to be on Saturday Night Live, and there's apparently an improv camp where you can be put on the varsity team or the junior varsity team, you know, depending on how good you are at your improv, and then I guess you put on a little, what are they called? They're not skits, but like, I don't know, in improv they're called something different. I would just call it a scene, whatever, at the end of camp. I think you're at camp for 3 weeks. All right, so this girl, as she's at camp, starts getting into this abusive relationship when she doesn't realize that it's starting out abusively, you know, because the guy starts off really nice, as they always do. And when you're looking up to someone in an authority position, so this one was her camp group leader. He was like 20, but I think she was 16, 17. Yeah, 17-year-old Zelda. She's 17. So, I mean, there's not like a huge age difference or anything, but he was still older. You know what it's like. Like, don't you remember being in high school and somebody 3 years older was like, oh my God, so woon. I'm sure it's the same thing. And especially when he's in charge of her group, like her tiny group, I think of like, you know, 6 to 8 people or something. He's the end all be all, you know, like whatever he says goes. So I like this because it deals with, I'm not going to say feminism because feminism is like an underlying theme towards the end, but it deals with a girl being in a group of guys and how that girl is treated. And I think they captured it really well. Like, so, I don't want to give plot points away, but some of the stuff that they did in here, I really enjoyed how they did it. Like, for example, a bunch of different improv games are being played. If you're not an actor, you're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about, okay? But if you've ever been to improv anything, or if you've watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, then you know that the audience just throws out suggestions and the actors just go for it, okay? So like, for example, if a guy gets on stage, you know, yell at doctor or fireman or policeman or something like that, there is a part in here where she gets up there and then the thing that they yell out for her is like prostitute. And it just, you could feel the air being sucked out of the room. When I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was just a really good way to put into light the way that female actors are handled. You know, even as young as 17 years old at a camp for kids, for other kids too. It's just, girls are seen as not funny and boys are funny. So when a girl is claiming to be funny, they try and make it a little more difficult for her. As you can tell, I'm hilarious, so I've dealt with this all my life. No, not that bad. Okay, but I mean that I understand what it's like to be a comedic actor, okay? You know, I'm never gonna be an ingenue or something like that. Like, I'm sarcastic, my voice is deep, I'm witty. Like, I felt a kinship to this character. Now, I will say in the first 70 pages or so, I did not. Like, it started off rough. And the reason I'm telling you this is so that if you ever get your hands on this book, continue. Like, it's worth it. Just continue on. I think the relationship that was portrayed in this book was just eye-opening. Like, I've never been in an abusive relationship like this, okay? but I'm sure that many a girl has. All right. And I just felt like the slow takeover of this girl from this guy was just accurate. And it got to the breaking point of like, oh my gosh, like, how did I get here? How did I let this happen? Which is what I've heard from girls that have been through this type of thing before. Like, they just let it get too far. However, I'm not putting it on the girl. I'm certainly not putting it on her. She was a kid at camp, you know? So it wasn't on her to let anything get further, okay? Not victim blaming at all. I just mean that I think it was an accurate portrayal of what a girl feels when something does go too far and they kind of wonder like, how did I get here? How did we get to this point? There were also some things in here that I thought were really poignant. If you think of like the Me Too era, a lot of the backlash is, you know, oh, she was asking for it, or oh, she led him on, or something like that. And like I said, this girl was kind of enamored with her coach at first. Like she thought this was something that she wanted. And as the story was going on, I was like, that's so clever, because I can totally see how that would be thrown back in her face. Like, I get it. And you know that if this is the type of thing that was brought to court, his side would be arguing like, oh yeah, she totally wanted it. She was all over him at camp, you know. I saw it. And I felt like the author did things so cleverly. Like, I hope a lot of people that read this book really enjoy it for what it is and push through those 70 to 80 pages in the beginning. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? It starts off rough and not a great start by any means. Please, if you pick this one up, follow through with it, and then let me know what you think. You know, just tell me down in the comments below, even if it's like months or years after this video is posted, okay? So, 1 out of 8 arcs. The first one I gave 4 stars, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'll hold on to this one, or maybe I'll bring it to book club, circle it around. I might want to pick up like a real copy when it comes out in April. All right, so we're starting off strong. Let's see how the next one goes. Hey guys, so I just finished Furious Thing, and I have to say that I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one 4 stars also, so that's 4 stars for Unscripted and 4 stars for Furious Thing. That's 2 out of 8 arcs that I have that I'm giving a good review to, which is great. This one may be a little tough to describe, but I will try. This girl, Lex, grew up with her mom, no dad in the picture. Dad left the mom whenever she became pregnant. And later on, when Lex was about 6 or 7, her mom met a guy and they ended up having an affair because the guy was married, and then they ended up getting married when she got pregnant with his kid. So the reason that it's called Furious Thing is because this guy that her mom is married to does what's called gaslighting. So if you're not familiar with gaslighting is, let me try and explain it to you the best that I can. Gaslighting is when, you know, somebody's not like physically hurting you or doing something that's like everyone else can see it and be like, wow, that's a really mean guy or something like that. It's so subtle, and yet they do it when nobody else is looking, and it kind of gets turned back on you. Like, you start thinking that you're the crazy one, and then you're like, wait, let me replay this in my head. What actually happened? And then they turn on the charm so you don't think that they're actually a mean person, but in truth, they really are. It's like a kind of mental abuse. So this girl does her monster like her little sister says that she does, and the way that she reacts to this father figure treating her this way is to throw things, whether it's a laptop out the window or if she's just chucking things in the kitchen, dropping things that are really expensive, like stuff like that. It's like the only way that she knows how to deal with the anger that this man is causing her, okay? So that's like the basis for this story. I don't want to get into all the details because I don't want to ruin it for you. So that's just like the main premise of what it's about. The thing I really liked about this is that Lex was not a likable character. And usually that's not something that I like about books. But I thought that it really brought something to the story, that this is a girl that's really annoying. Like, you're going to read this book and you're not going to like her. But that's also the point, because it's like, okay, well, maybe she's annoying because of all of this that has been pent up inside of her for years. It just makes sense of why you would find her annoying after a while. And because we can see it from the outside of how this man is treating her and how it's like, okay, yeah, he didn't actually physically abuse her, but what he's doing is wrong, and it makes you angry as the reader. I become furious too, you know? I thought it just had a really good portrayal of what gaslighting is and how mental abuse is just as cutting as physical abuse. You know, you may not have the physical scars to show that you've been abused, but this girl has been living with this guy for years and has the mental scars to show for it. So I will say there was one thing that I didn't like in this book, which I've read a couple of reviews. There's not many reviews out, but some do touch on this. The author portrays ADHD as like being crazy. No, I think there's a multitude of behavioral disorders to choose from, all right? So why would you choose ADHD to represent that, you know, Lex is going insane? Like, I don't know. I don't think that was handled really well. Okay, my point is that her parents try and like convince her that she has some condition and to take her to a doctor. And she's so embarrassed and angry that they want to diagnose her with ADHD. And they read off these things on the list of symptoms. And I mean, I got why they thought that Lex had ADHD, because she did tick a lot of boxes on that list. So I was kind of like, all right, am I supposed to be mad for her that they're trying to label her and give her medication? You know, no, because I'm an advocate of medication. I think for mental health, if you know you have a problem, you should take medication and get better. So I kind of felt like the author wanted me to think the opposite, like, how dare they try to give her medication for something that she doesn't have? But at the same time, she ticked a lot of those boxes, so like, I kind of felt like she did have it. But also, if you wanted us to feel for the character and feel embarrassed that she was going to be labeled with some type of behavioral disorder, I mean, like, why ADHD? I don't know. I don't know anybody that has been diagnosed with ADHD that's actually embarrassed about it. If I'm wrong, I mean, feel free to correct me, okay? Maybe the people I know are not representative of the whole. This is also coming from somebody that has been diagnosed with bipolar 2 in the past and diagnosed with depression. You know, I think those things, maybe I'm biased, but those things are like slightly more embarrassing to say out loud than ADHD. Is that right? Do you agree with me? I don't know. That part kind of stumped me up about the book a little bit. However, it didn't take away from my enjoyment of it. I mean, that part was a little bizarre, but the overall story I really enjoyed. Okay, I'll check back in with you when I get to my third arc. Hey, so for my last check-in, I have read 2 more arcs. The first one that I got through was Only Love Can Break Your Heart. This is one of the ones that I thought would be cheesy. And there were some things that were cheesy, but there were other good things in it, okay? I gave this one 3 stars because I was not in love with it, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't really bad. It was just some stuff in here that I didn't like. So the main premise is that this girl has a sister that died a while back, okay? And in her room, in her home, she sees her, you know, and not just like visions of her, like she has outright conversations with her. She thinks that the person that she's seeing is real. And honestly, throughout the whole book, I mean, I think she's real too. I felt like she was really seeing her too. So it's kind of following that and how she deals with it. The way that she deals with it is to get into a relationship with this guy at her school. Now, the way that I understand it is that she's like cool at her school. She's one of the cool, pretty girls. Everybody's interested in her. And the guy that she becomes interested is not so popular or anything. He's just kind of in the background. People don't really realize that he's there. So I like that this book is cut up into like autumn, spring, winter, summer, whatever. They do it by seasons so that you can see the year progressing, and it goes through their relationship and kind of what happens as they get further into their relationship. I don't want to give anything away, okay? The thing that I didn't like about this is that I didn't think either of them were such great people, so I wasn't really invested in the characters. You know, I get the lesson that it was trying to teach, that sometimes you just try to fill a hole with whatever you can to fill that hole, even if it's not the best thing for you. Like, I got that lesson from it. It was just that being that I wasn't really connecting to either of these characters, so I didn't care if either of them had a good outcome, it's not something that really resonated with me, and I don't think that I would pick it up again. However, it's not terrible. It's not. Like, I think a lot of people will pick up this book and like it. Michelle reads YA. If you're watching this, I think you would like this one, so this will be coming to book club. All right, the second one that I got through was This Train is Being Held. Now this one took me by surprise because when I had first read the back cover, I didn't like that there seemed to be a stereotype on the back. It described her mother as being Havana born and having a volatile temper and didn't like anyone. And it's like, okay, like I have a Spanish last name. I'm well aware of the stereotypes of Latina women having volatile tempers, okay? I've just heard enough. I've heard it enough. So when I read it on the back of the book, I was like, oh, here we go again. All right. I do like this book and I'll get into the things that I like, but staying on the mother, because they mention this pretty early in the book, like her mother has bipolar disorder. Like, that's so different than having just a volatile temper. Like, there is a difference. There is a difference. If anyone involved in this book is watching this video, you should think about the restructuring of this blurb on the back, because I think that needs a little tweak or two. Okay, but this story does not center around the mom. It centers around this girl named Isa, this boy named Alex. They meet in the subway station in New York. They take the subway all the time. She goes to a ballet school. He goes to a school in Washington Heights, and baseball is his main thing, okay? They don't really make plans to meet up, but a lot of times they keep running into each other on the train. So, you know, it's a little serendipitous kind of thing. And it follows their relationship. Like, they don't start off as one, but he starts leaving her messages on the train, and then they try it out, and then it doesn't work out, and then they try it again, and, you know, that kind of thing, this back and forth kind of thing. I liked their relationship. Like, I felt each of them was pretty likable as far as characters go. What I didn't like about it was kind of like the throwaway mental health issues we have. Like, her family deals with mental health. I already said her mom has bipolar disorder. Her brother pretty much has bipolar disorder. And it gives like one sentence in here. I don't even know where in the book, but one sentence in here that she's concerned for herself. Like, think about it. If your mom has bipolar disorder, if your brother has bipolar disorder, that is something that would take up a lot of your thought process, because you gotta wonder, like, is that going to happen to me? And if it does, what's gonna happen? I just feel like more attention should have been paid to that. But I get that they were trying to focus more on the romance. So I get it, okay? And it was a cute romance. Like, it did find this cute. I think I gave this one 3 stars too, because it's like, it's a cute contemporary romance. Not usually my jam. I enjoyed it, not one that I'll pick up again. All right, I think that's all I've got to say for right now. I will check in when I read the next one. Okay, so that wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts about each of these. I'm gonna plunge forward into the next 4 that I believe come out March to July of next year, and hopefully I'll get that video out maybe end of January, beginning of February, so you can look forward to it then. All right, thank you for tuning in to Elise Reads and Speaks. I will catch you next time, guys. Bye.